This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Larson. The Fargo Police Department say they are investigating a shots fired incident that happened just before 11 p.m. last night at the Travel Lodge on 35th Street South in Fargo. Police say there do not appear to be any injuries, but they will be fully investigating the incident. Fargo PD say there is no information on the suspect able to be released at this time, as well as no more information about the situation right now. Stay with Valley News Live as we follow this developing story. A motorcyclist is in critical condition tonight after driving off the oncoming side of a roadway, losing control and falling off of his motorcycle. It happened at around 11:30 a.m. this morning. The report says he was headed westbound on the 2600 block of 5th Avenue South in Fargo. The driver was identified as Luke Schmitz of Fargo. Schmitz has a motorcycle endorsement but was not wearing a helmet. He was transported to Sanford and is in critical condition. And another motorcycle crash killed a 20-year-old man from Illinois in Stutsman County today around 12:30 p.m. The report says the man was on State Highway 20 and was hit by a pickup on the rear tire who had failed to yield. The cyclist was pushed into a ditch and he was declared dead at the scene. The crash remains under investigation. It was extremely hot today and many had their air conditioners on and running. But with everyone using it at the same time, it may have caused some issues for power companies. There were hundreds of Cass County Electric Company customers who experienced short power outages. 2 of the 3 are said to be because of overload. There's still no word on what caused the third. The first estimated 875 affected. The second one left another 950 without power. And the third one hit 217 customers. Crews were sent out and worked as quickly and safely as they could to restore power back to everyone. And now we have forecaster Summer Schnellbach here with a first look at these record-breaking temperatures happening around the region. Summer?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I think whether we like it or not, we can all agree that today was hot. But just how hot were we? Well into the triple digits. Wahpeton, 104 degrees, just a couple miles north of town. Warren, 103, same with Prosper and East Grand Forks, and many others near 102 degrees, including NDSU at an NDON site. But the record in Fargo goes down as 101 today because that's where climate data is kept at the airport. So here's a look at airport data. Grand Forks 100 degrees, Wahpeton 100, Wheaton 100 and 103 in Sisseton, many others in the upper 90s. So that was enough to tie or break some records. We tied here in Fargo, records crushed in Grand Forks at the airport. Even now, we're still hot with temperatures in the 80s and 90s. And now starting to track some severe thunderstorms as well. I'll continue to monitor these and a look at another hot first alert weather day for tomorrow coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Summer.
We are our ancestors' wildest dreams out here.
Hundreds of people in the Fargo-Moorhead area celebrated Juneteenth and the rich history of Black culture in the U.S. While the day is a cause of joy and celebration, it is also a reminder of the work that is still needed to bring the country closer to equality. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling brings us the story.
Celebrations of Juneteenth were held in the Fargo-Moorhead area over the weekend, commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. This is the second time it is being celebrated as a national holiday as well.
Black history is U.S. history. It's for all students and all children, and I'm seeing people of all walks of life, ages, cultures, backgrounds, and they're learning about it.
Joe McLean Jr. was brought in to share his poetry and perspective of the ongoing battle for equality in the nation.
It's cool to have the holidays. It's cool to have, name changes from a racist building to a Rosa Parks or whatever, but we need to change the actual system because until then, it's nothing but a bunch of fluff. So we really need to get to the meat and potatoes, get to the real problems in this country, and we really need to make this country equal for everybody, how it was originally meant to be.
The sharing of Black history, culture, art, music, and food has been important to preserving a large part of the nation, and many people showed up despite the triple-digit summer temperatures.
Everyone coming out here today in the heat, that really shows that they care and that they want to learn more about this and, connects more with the community as well.
There have been others before who set the stage for the fight for civil rights. Names like Martin Luther King Jr. inspire others to pick up their cause.
They never stopped to the day that they died. and we will continue to push for equality and inclusion in our community. We won't stop.
In Fargo, Air Walling, Valley News Live.
Juneteenth came to be after the announcement of General Order No. 3 by Union Army General Gordon Granger proclaimed the freedom of enslaved people in Texas on June 19, 1865. Today is Father's Day, a time to pay tribute to the parental figures in our lives. While the first Mother's Day celebration took place in the U.S. in 1914, Father's Day wasn't really official until 1970. It wasn't until President Richard Nixon said Congress passed a resolution designating the third Sunday in June as Father's Day. Part of the reason for the delay is that many people felt Mother's Day had become overly commercialized. But fathers are always happy to be remembered, whether it's a card or pancakes or a gift, even if it's a tie. It's a thought that counts for dear old dad. FlightAware reported earlier today there were 769 canceled flights today nationwide. The cancellations are being blamed on rough weather, staff shortages, and infrastructure challenges. TSA officers said they screened more than 2,400,000 people nationwide on Friday. That's the highest checkpoint volume since the Sunday after Thanksgiving. The increase in delays and cancellation comes just days after Transportation Secretary met with airline CEOs. They met to discuss ways to improve performance and operations ahead of another expected surge in travel over the 4th of July holiday. It's been 10 days since 2 Americans fighting alongside Ukrainians went missing. Chris Livesay is in Kharkiv tonight with new details about what may have happened to them.
It's been a tough week for you.
It's been much worse for them.
An American on the front line, insisting he remain anonymous because he fought alongside Andy Wynn and Alex Druki before they were captured. This week, they surfaced on Russian media. Today, in newly released footage, Druki said he's been repeatedly beaten by his captors.
Did you ever consider that you might get captured?
Yes. Once we were together, we had talked about it, yes. Being in the hands of any enemy force, you are going to do what you have to do to stay alive.
So you, Andy, and Alex all came here with your eyes wide open.
Maybe not wide open, but I think we like to think so.
They didn't know each other when they came, but sharing a small tent quickly changed that, he says.
They are the best. I have rarely made friends that quickly, with that strong of a bond. Where one went, the other two were usually close by. It was the 3 of us.
All the more gutting when Wynn and Druki were captured, leaving him to notify their loved ones.
Those 2 first phone calls letting them know that they were missing were without a doubt the hardest phone calls I've ever had to make in my life. Listening to Joy Black, Alex's fiance, it was extremely difficult having to put sort of a sergeant's voice to her. And then I had to tell her that her fiance is missing.
Missing, captured, and coerced, but at least they're alive.
No one knows for sure exactly where these soldiers are being held. In one of their videos, their interrogator alludes to them being in an area of Ukraine controlled by Russian separatists. And a recently convicted 2 Brits and a Moroccan fighting alongside Ukrainians and sentenced them to death. Later on Valley News Live at 10, school may be out, but so are the federal waivers for free school breakfasts and lunches for students.
And today was hot. Tonight will still be quite hot by nighttime standards. Temperatures in Fargo only falling into the upper 70s, low 80s, and Grand Forks only falling into the mid and upper 70s by tomorrow morning. That sets us up for another hot day, potential records broken, and severe weather chance. Details next.